Hi Olivia, how are you? It's been 2 months since we saw each other at Thanksgiving dinner. I thought we would see you on Christmas, but somehow things didn't work out and we missed you. How have you been for the last 2 months? I hope everything is okay.
Hey, what are you trying to say? You sound like you wish something didn't go okay. Did you need me say something like nothing in my life worked out, I hate it?
Of course not. I was just trying to be friendly. I didn't mean to offend you.
You offended me regardless of your intention. You should watch out for what you're saying.
Will do, Olivia. Please don't misunderstand.
Why did you text me anyway? I'm 100% positive that you didn't text me to congratulate me on my son getting a job with a high salary. What else might be there for you to call me? Is there anything you want to say to me?
Actually, that's exactly why I called you. Congratulations Olivia for Henry finally getting a job. It took him a while, but it's good that he got one, even better for a high salary. It was certainly worth it to take it slow.
Did you say finally? I'm sure he only took 2 years to get a job when the unemployment rate is through the roof these days. Why would you say that to Henry? There are so many kids who stick to their parents without a job because they couldn't get one. I'm sure Henry has accomplished a lot. It might sound like bragging, but there's no one like my son. He can be a little spoiled sometimes because he is a free soul. Yet, he has a sociology degree from such a prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino, and most of all, he is very handsome and tall, not to mention the nice personality that comes with his good looks. He is a pearl that shines its true worth after sitting under the mud for years. Don't you agree with me? He is just the best, I can't ask for more.
Yeah, I agree with you. He can be one of the good ones.
What do you mean by he can be one of the good ones? He doesn't have to be compared to anyone else, he is absolutely the best. Is it so hard to agree with me? You don't need to mean what you're saying, you can just pretend that he is the best. What is wrong with you?
Sure, you're right. All moms believe their kids are the best no matter what.
You should see yourself and what you're saying, you're so annoying. I understand that you're jealous of me and my son, but don't be so obvious because you're pathetic. You're so twisted that you can't be generous to your nephew for once, aren't you? You should say congratulations even if you don't mean it.
That's why I said congratulations, and I meant it.
So you reached out to me to congratulate me? Because you sound like you're being sarcastic.
That's not true. I genuinely wanted to express my feelings about how happy La for Henry. And there's one more thing that I wanted to ask you.
Of course there is. I knew that it wasn't just about Henry. What is it?
I heard something about the entire family going on a trip this weekend from Emma. I was talking to Emma this morning to discuss what we should do for Ava's birthday, and she brought it up. She said you're funding a trip to San Diego because Henry got a job. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. You heard it right.
But you never told me about it. If it's for the entire family, then me and my husband and my kids should be included. I thought maybe you forgot to mention it to me. I wanted to confirm with you because I need to plan ahead.
I didn't forget, I just didn't know how to tell you. I wasn't sure if I should tell you or not.
Why were you not sure about it?
Well, you're always sensitive about me and my son. I didn't know how you would react if I told you Henry got a high salary job. I didn't want to make you jealous. They were in this weird position where they had to compete with each other all the time, and I was pretty uncomfortable with that. You did all you could do for James to go to a better college than Henry, but look where he ended up. He's staying at home and helping your business from time to time instead of getting a real job. What was your business again? Oh, I'm sure it's so insignificant that I don't need to waste my time asking about it. Well, he went to UCLA and it's not that much better than Cal State San Bernardino anyway. I was sure you would be uncomfortable with me and Henry if you found out he got a job when your son didn't. So I was debating if I should take you and James or not. I thought maybe I shouldn't include you guys in the trip. I thought I was being considerate and I don't mind if you want to come with the rest of us, but I apologize if I offended you. I didn't mean to hurt you.
You didn't offend or hurt me at all. What would the rest of the family think if I didn't come with them for such stupid reasons that don't even make sense? I would love to go on the trip this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Sure thing. If you say so, I'm making reservations for you as well. Are all of you coming?
Yes, all 4 of us.
Oh, right. Your children don't have jobs, so they should have a lot of free time. I'm glad they can come with us. I'm looking forward to having a girls' night out. Let guys stay at the hotel, and Ava, Emma, you, and I can go out and have our night. How do you feel about going to the bar and having some cocktails and dancing?
I guess I can do that. I've never done it, but I can try.
There you go. By the way, I'm leaving a day earlier to see my brother on my way to San Diego. He lives about an hour away in Temecula and I wanted to stop by. Hope that's okay with you.
Definitely.
Great. It's Hilton San Diego Bayfront. I'll text you the address, and I'll see you in the lobby at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Will do. See you then.
A few moments later.
Hi, Olivia. We're at the lobby, but I don't see any of you here. You said it's Hilton San Diego Bayfront at 7 p.m., right?
Hi, Naomi, you just got there? Oh no. All of us are heading back home already.
What do you mean by heading back home? Didn't you say to meet you at 7 p.m.? I'm sure you said we're spending the night here and going back home tomorrow.
You must be mistaken. I said to meet us on Friday night at 7 p.m. so we can spend the night here and then go back on Saturday.
I'm positive you said Saturday night. You texted me, and I have all of that in my phone. Why is the world lying about it?
Oh, is that so? Maybe I said it wrong. I was supposed to say Friday, but I said Saturday? I must have been confused. You know I'm going through menopause and I'm very forgetful these days. I deeply apologize for my mistake, Naomi. I mean it when I say that I didn't do it on purpose. I never wanted to offend you. You must have driven hours to get there and it turned out to be for nothing. Say sorry to your husband and kids for me.
Wow, you're talking a lot and making excuses.
What did you say?
Do you think I'm stupid that I would believe your crap? Do you think you can fool us like this?
I said I didn't mean it.
No, you meant every single thing from the beginning. You gave me the wrong date because you wanted to leave me behind. I'm sure you didn't want to invite me to the trip in the first place, did you? If that's what you wanted to do, why did you invite me? You should have told me that you didn't want me to be here with you, then I wouldn't be here. I would have understood. You didn't have to play dirty. Are you happy for bullying me and making fun of me like a child?
Oh well, if you're saying you knew that I didn't want to invite you, I will be straightforward with you. You're definitely right, I didn't want to join us on the trip, to begin with. Why did you want to come if you knew what I wanted? I didn't want to hurt you for something like this, so I tried to keep it low-key that I only wanted Ava and Emma to come with me. You were the one who texted me and begged me to take you that you wanted to come with us. I didn't text you, you texted me. I could say no flat out, so I said okay, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt like it was not the right thing to do to go on a trip with you. I couldn't help it.
Why is that? Did I disappoint you in some way? Why did you have to exclude me from the entire family trip?
Did you really need me to spell it out for you? I didn't like you the moment I met you. I didn't like how you didn't treat me right when I'm the second highest of the family after Ava, and how you had the baby in the same year as I did when you got married years later than me. Most of all, I hated that you had a son. My Henry was supposed to be the first, most significant boy in the family, yet he had to share his grandparents' love with your son, so he was able to get only half of what he deserved. I hated how James was a little bit better, not even a lot, on everything, including schoolwork, extracurricular work, and eventually college. How dare James eat up all the praise and love from his grandparents for being just a tiny bit better than Henry? Listen, Naomi, I didn't want to be so frank about it, but I can't take it anymore. I hate everything about you, including your son. Thank God you had a girl after James that Henry didn't have to share or compete with his cousins any more than he already did.
That's an absurd. Children are gifts from God regardless of their gender, and you were so displeased about my son? Why didn't you have a child before I did if you didn't want to have your son in the same year as I did?
Go to hell. You know how I was having a hard time for 3 years to conceive a baby and I ended up having Henry via IVF. How can you say that? This is why I hate you. You're bluntly saying things that might hurt people. Hey, congratulations on having a baby naturally. I'm so thankful that you didn't have to go through what I had to go through.
No, that's not what I meant. You are accusing me of having my baby in the same year as you, and I don't deserve that from you. I became pregnant only after a few months of getting married and then gave birth to James a while later. I lived my life only by God's will, but if you say that's a crime, I don't know what to say. I've been in the silence competition with you for more than 20 years, not just 1 or 2, and you think I was happy about that? I was as miserable as you were.
Yes, I was miserable and I even blamed myself for not having a baby earlier. So what I'm saying is if you wanted to be considerate, you should have at least tried to have a baby after I had one. You could have waited, why did you have to rush? You were ignoring me from the beginning. You didn't care how I would feel if you had the baby at the same time as I did. I'm supposed to be your older sister, but you didn't show a bit of respect.
Why can't we be amicable? Having a cousin who is the same age and the same grade should be wonderful for both of them. I don't understand why we have to compare them with everything from the moment they are born. When they were babies, you were so concerned about who walked first, who talked first, or who was potty trained first. As they grew up, you were concerned about who learned English first or who had better grades. You even had to move to James's school district because he was better than Henry's. You needed to buy everything I bought for James, including clothing, shoes, and toys, and you needed to get a tutor for every subject when I got James a tutor. What did you gain in the end after doing all of that? Did Henry end up going to one of the IB schools because you tried so hard?
Are you bragging about yourself because James went to one of the top schools in the country? You're unbelievable. What was the point of him going to UCLA when he had no choice other than helping his mom's whatever business that was because he couldn't get any other job? I assume he's helping you with the house chores like cleaning and vacuuming, and is that what you wanted for him to do after you tried too hard to get him to UCLA? This is why people say we never know what's going to happen even tomorrow. Who would have thought someone like Henry who went to not-so-prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino would end up getting a high-salary job, and someone like James who went to such a prestigious school like UCLA ended up being jobless and doing dishes at home? Please tell this Henry in advance so he won't get hurt later. Henry is not willing to help him at all. Don't pretend to be so friendly with Henry so he can ask for help, okay? Let him know he should make a living by himself by flipping burgers at In-N-Out or even helping at a construction site.
You're going so overboard of yourself, aren't you? Your son is not officially employed yet. You should stop the fussing.
What do you mean?
He just got the letter that he passed the interview, but he didn't get the offer letter yet. He didn't submit his ID or W-2 or anything that his employer needed in order for them to officially hire him.
Well, that's right. But I'm sure he's going to get the offer letter sooner than later since he passed the interview. What a buzzkill you are. You're so twisted that you can't wish your nephew well about anything, aren't you?
I am saying it because I don't think Henry will ever get an offer letter from them. Do you know why? Because I'm writing a letter right now.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you insane? Who do you think you are writing to my son's employer not to accept him? You're funny. Don't you be so full of yourself? They're not going to listen to you because you're nothing. Do you hate so much that Henry got a job and James didn't? Is that why you're writing a letter to them? How can you do that when he's your nephew, too?
Why should I write myself a letter? There's no need for that. I'm not writing to myself, I'm writing to your son to let him know that he's not getting an offer letter after all.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm the president and CEO of the company where your son had the interview.
How can you be the president and CEO of anywhere? I heard you're the owner of a small business but never heard of you being a CEO or whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I wasn't able to tell you because you're so jealous of every single thing I do. You're comparing me and yourself as well because you're not enough to compare Henry and James. It's so sad that you have to do that, not realizing not everything has to be a competition. I never saw you as a competitor. You should ask Henry about the name of the company he applied to. He will say MD Architect and Design.
I didn't ask him about the name of the company, but you're saying you're the owner of MD Architect and Design? How is that even possible?
That's right. I'm the MD, Naomi Dorison. You know I majored in architecture, right? I knew how you would stress yourself and be all competitor mode if you knew I established a company. I kept it as a secret for your good. That's not wrong, is it?
What do you mean by I was jealous of you? Why would I be jealous of someone like you when my husband works for one of the big 4 accounting firms in the country and I'm sufficient with what I have? My husband and son are more than capable and there's nothing I should be jealous of you.
Look, Olivia, your mouth is saying one thing, but your actions are saying the other. I know what you've been doing. You closely looked at my clothing, shoes, bags, and even appliances and memorized them every time you came to my house. And you couldn't help but get the same ones as soon as you stepped out the door, am I wrong? That was the only reason for you to come to my house every once in a while, to check out if I had anything that you didn't have and to get it immediately if there were any. Are you still saying you're not jealous of me?
How in the world did you know about that?
Henry told James and James told me. He said it's his chance to get what he wants because you always go to the mall and get something the next day you come to my house. He also said you would get him anything if he brings up James and uses his name as his excuse to get something, like if James has an iPhone, then you would get Henry an iPhone as well if he wants one. Henry was actually pretty excited about it, that he could get anything he wanted just by bringing up James's name. Haven't you ever thought Henry might be affected in a bad way because of your jealousy and vanity? How can he grow up to be a normal person when his mom is wrapped up with jealousy from head to toe?
Shut the hell up. How dare you criticize how I raise my boy when your boy barely does dishes at home because he can't get a job? You raised him so well that he ended up in your kitchen helping you with your dishes because he has all the time in the world as he's jobless, right?
It's true that James helps me in a certain way, but I'm saying that it's not dishes or house cleaning. Is that so hard to understand for you? James didn't get a privilege just because he's my son, but went through a fair step of the employment process. He started as an intern and climbed all the way up to the SVP, and now he is capable of assisting me. He is an acting CEO in my absence. I'm teaching him everything I can about running MD architect and design so I can pass it on to him someday. I'm not expecting it to be so soon, but it will happen someday. My husband was so worried about his nephew that Henry couldn't get a job for a long time. So I played a nepotism and almost got him a position, but I guess I was silly. How could someone like you with the biggest self-pride will be able to bear to see your son work for James? I should have known better. I believe it's much better to call it off here than stand against each other for being in an ugly situation later on.
Absolutely not. Henry was so excited to get a job, and if he found out that his employment got cancelled because of me, he'd never see me again. Please forgive me for this one time. You know how Henry had a hard time getting a job for 2 years? Your company was the only place that was going to hire him.
He might leave you. He must be very upset if he finds out his mom, who urged him and pressured him to compete with his cousin for every little thing in his life since he was little, threw away his chance to be employed after being desperate for a long time. That breaks my heart.
After what happened with Olivia, I visited Ava only when Olivia didn't come and I didn't see her at all. I tried my best to work it out with her for a long time, but I realized it won't ever work out. Henry found out what his mom did and eventually left home, blaming his mom for ruining everything in his life. He was greatly wounded by his mom for comparing him with his cousin for every step of the way, and his resentment toward his mom should have piled up. It broke my heart to realize what he must have gone through for more than 2 decades. I heard that he now works for a small company in Kansas City. He moved 1,500 miles away from his mom, and thankfully, he said he is living his happiest moment that he's away from his mom interfering and meddling in his life. I feel a relief that he is satisfied with his life now.